Hey guys, this is Peter, and today I've got a great project for you. In fact, this might be my favorite DIY project of all time because I can enjoy it every day. In fact, my family will enjoy it every single day this summer. So what have I done? I've hooked up our solar, well, I have a solar kit, and I've hooked it up to run our air conditioning. So now we can actually run it. My goal was to get 3 hours a day. If I could just get 3 hours a day, I could really, make a difference. But it turned out to be so much more. It's the perfect solution because when you're in the heat of the day is when you're generating the most power. And it works out rather nicely. I'm actually breaking even during some hours of the day where I'm generating as much as I'm using. So that's fantastic. Now I have this giant battery to support the rest of the load. I think I can get about 10 hours a day out of this. So a lot of people are going to say, hey, does this make sense? It's going to take a while to pay for itself. You absolutely need an off-grid solar array, I think, because, electricity is becoming less and less dependable. With lawyers and with climate change, we really need some way to get power in the event the grid goes down. Power is not getting any cheaper. It's not going away. That's going to keep happening. And the climate's not going to get better overnight. This is going to take at least 10 years. Guess what? This is a 10-year battery. I like lithium iron phosphate. I've talked about that in the past. In fact, I did a whole video on this exact solution. So all I've done is take this solution that I've shown before, and now I'm hooking it up to, because I had a dual phase inverter, which means I can do 110 or 220, I can hook it up to my 220 volt air conditioner, and it works better than I thought it would. All right, so here's my circuit box. And as you can see, I've turned off the AC. The AC was here. It's 20 amp fuse. Notice it's two of them. That's 220 volts. So two of them right next to each other. That's 220. I've turned it off. I'm going to run it completely off-grid. Let's go. All right, so I came outside and found my inverter, and I traced it up, and here's an electric box right here. So let's start here and see what we can't find when we open this thing up. Now, when I first opened this up, I've already got the screws loosened. Look, so many wires in there. I've got two reds coming in. Okay, one's for line, one's for load. One's coming out of here, one's coming out of here. Okay, so that's my line in. All right, so this one makes the most sense. In a lot of these, you can have a lot of extra wires, and that's because the load, which is this box down here, has a whole wiring diagram. You can take a look at it. But what it does is for each sending unit, it runs electricity back to it. It makes sense when you think about it. But when I looked at the boxes up on the roof, they were just chock full of stuff. So all I'm going to do is remove it says line and load. Well, obviously the load's still connected. We've turned off the line. So I'm just going to take these out and cap them, of course. I'm going to put some caps on them. Here we go. Here we go. Just cap them off. Now, at my fuse box, I've already turned them off. This is just for demonstration purposes. But here, I've run a line from my garage. And I've got the two black wires, so a black and a red, and the ground. And I'm just going to run that into where it says line. You could actually switch them, it doesn't matter, because they're both the same. The black and the red are the same, different phase, but the same voltage. They're interchangeable at this point. So let's just tighten that down. There we go. Screwdriver, you want to get it nice and tight. There we go. Load and ground. Now, it's going to be much nicer to come in here with conduit, just like this. And I'm going to do that. But this is just to make sure we can do it before the conduit. So I'm going to take this. I'm not sure how many units are getting, sending units are getting stuff and using a common ground. So I'm just going to leave the ground that was in there, and again, tighten it down. There we go. Nice and tight. All right, so here's my solar power wall, if you will, and I just wanted to point out a few all-stars in this thing. One is the battery. This isn't just a battery. This is 4 batteries in one. See, it's 25 volts. Most batteries are 12 volts, right? So 12.6. This is 25.6. So this is two batteries together in series and two in parallel. Usually they're 100 amp hours. This is 200 amp hours. So that's two in parallel. So it's two series, two parallel, one BMS. That's a battery management system. It not only protects me from, well, the electrical system, because it has a good battery management, I can't overcharge it, but also it can't undercharge. It protects itself from me. So it's a really great battery. I love the fact that it has such a nice app that I can control it from my phone. Two other things I want to point out. This is a charge controller for one set of solar panels, and I had another one, a different one. Why didn't I run them together? Because I have some older solar panels. They're 100 watt, 4 of them. I put them on this one, and you have to match the voltages. So I used this one for my new solar panels. This is 200 watt panels, and I got 4 of those. So I could actually hook them both together. That was great. This is an all-star as well. This is SunGold Power. It's 4,000 watts. Dual phase. Dual phase means it has two hot lines. There's a red one and a black one, and I'll show you that. And when you're working with dual phase, so you can get to 220 volts, I like to use a box like this because no one wants to be the YouTuber that burnt down his house. So I did get one of these. I like it. I understand it, and I fuse everything. Fuse my inputs, my outputs for solar, fuse the battery, fused everything, and then I fuse every circuit that comes out of it. That's the way that I like to do it because, again, no one wants to be the YouTuber that burnt down their house. So this is safe if you treat it safe. So these are some solar panels. This is the 100 watt channel. This is the 200 watt panel. Now let's see, and this is coming in, so I have it fused. And sometimes that one pops, interestingly enough. I might go up in the amperage. I just had that one laying around. This is the power coming out of it. This one never pops. That one's fine. So that's why I think this one may just be a little bit overzealous sometimes. And that way, when I want to, I can always turn things off. You'll notice this light is on absorption, which means my battery is filled. It's protecting itself. It's not going to overcharge. So I know exactly what the voltage is going to be. And this is how I turn the whole thing on. Boom. Now I've turned on this, and all of this stuff is live. One more thing I want to point out, and that is the wire that I've chosen here. You'll notice that this is a 110 outlet, right? So I used a white wire here. That's because this is 14 gauge wire. You can tell by the color, but you can also tell because it's stamped on the side. It says a 14-2 here. There you go. 14 gauge wire is perfect for 15 amp circuits. We're running a 20 amp circuit, so I didn't use white wire. I ran yellow wire. Yellow wire is traditionally for 20 amp circuits. It is 12 gauge, so you want to make sure you use the right gauges. All I did was, out of this unit, you notice there's a red line and a black line. Both of those are 110. That's dual phase. There's your return line and your ground. I ran all of this into the box so that I could control it properly. All right, here's the box, just a little bit zoomed in. And here, you can see that one of the 110s goes to this side. One of the 110s goes way down here to this side. And here's your return, kind of in the middle on this bus bar. Now, here, I'm going to go ahead and pull these out real quick. There we go. That's 1, 2, and 3. You'll notice a zigzag is occurring here. That's because things plugged into the first, third, and fifth all go to this red phase. The ones that go to the black phase are the 6th, the 4th, and the 2nd. So when I plug this one in, and this goes to my it goes to 110 volt. That goes to the front room, so I could utilize it there. And it comes out the top, right? So I'm going to plug this in, and not just went into the red phase. I took this one, and this one is actually got 2 of them in here. It's a split, but they actually plug into the same phase. So don't be confused here. You can't get one of these to get 210 because it's plugging into a single phase. But here, I'm going to plug this in, and now I have kind of 2 circuits in one. Okay, there it is. Now I have 2, a 15 and a 20. If I'm wiring up the 20, you know I have to use the 12 gauge wire. This one can use 14 gauge wire. It's okay to go over on the wire, but you don't want to misalign these two. Now this one grabs two phases. See, this is for 220. It has a single bar, but it's grabbing two phases. It's grabbing both the red phase and the black phase. And I went ahead and changed the color of the wire by using heat shrink. Can you see that? Can you see that? Yeah, we can see that. And I did it several times. Why? Just for good, to communicate to the next person who works on this. Whether it's me and I need to remind myself, and I did it outside as well. I'll show you that. But here, when I plug this in, I'm grabbing both phases. Boom, there we go. Red line or 110, 110. We're going to combine them outside and bring them together. All right, here's the 12 gauge wire coming out, going along the side yard. And yeah, I didn't even cut the wire yet. You know, I left it long because I'm going to put it in conduit, but you got to make sure that you can do it before you conduit. So you can actually hear it running. Spoiler alert. I did want to get a picture of this sticker. It shows why I found so many wires in all these boxes. You know, each little receptacle that I showed has power to it. So the power comes down into this box and then up into this box, and every other box along the way is just filled chock full of wires. And you're like, how come there's so many red wires? Again, we only need one white and one black and a ground. That's all you need. I cleaned it up because I wanted to put the cover back on. But here's the line from the grid. Here's the line from the grid. Notice I got some heat shrink tubing and made this line red. It's just good practice to communicate to others and remind yourself that's hot. So is this one. These are both hot, and I threw the ground in right here. So 1, 2, 3. That's all I brought in. And I secured this. I'm going to do better with conduit, but for right now, that's crazy enough. So here, I'm going to tuck it all inside the box. There you go. All buttoned up. And let's go test this thing out. That's going to work. Totally off grid. We can run this all day long or until the battery dies. Right, here we are at one of the receptacles inside. I'm holding the remote in my hands. Now if I've done everything right, this should power on. It's not hooked up to the grid anymore. It's only hooked up to the battery in the garage. And here it comes. And it's going to start blowing out cold air. Now we have another unit in the back, and we've run both of them concurrently. It works fantastically. It uses less power than you'd think, but I got to tell you, here comes the cold air. Let's see, can I feel it yet? It's spinning up. Yep, cold air is coming out. It's so much more enjoyable to have the AC on when it doesn't cost you a thing. In fact, when you look at the different monitors, I'd show you, but I'm filming with my phone right now. But I'm actually, at peak parts of the day, I'm actually creating power even when I'm running this. So how long do I think I could run this? I think I could run this for at least 5 to 6 hours a day. That's fantastic. That is super. My wife had told everyone, never use this. Well, now that it's not connected to the grid, I don't think she has a problem with it. We spent a lot of money to get one of these things, but we've used it so infrequently because we were afraid of the cost. Well, now we're just not afraid of the cost anymore. Because guess what? It's free, baby. At 24. Well, that's Celsius. You guys aren't going to understand that. Let's see. How do you switch it? Yeah, here you go. It's going to be like 71 or something. 70. There's 64 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's bring it down. Why not? It's free. And the fan's on full, and I feel it down about at my knees. This is perfect. What I like to do is adjust the swing. So it points to me over at the couch, right about there. Take a good old nap, right about there. Anyway, guys, there you go. Well, thanks guys for watching the whole thing, but I'm going to go ahead and put some links down below to the equipment that I used. Again, it's not about paying it off and, you know, making it work this summer. It's about enjoying it and being ready. I have a receptacle that's in the front room. I use it for a heater during the summer, or sorry, for during the winter. But I can actually use it all the time during the summer because the sun is going all the time. There's so much more daylight during the summer. It's just some more and more and more. This battery is maybe a bit overkill, and it is a bit expensive. There is a less expensive one. I'll put a link to it. It is still 24 volts, but it's half the capacity. So it's 100 amp hours instead of the 200 amp hours. I do love my battery, but I love the company even more. So instead of picking something weird, get one of these batteries. I love the BMS that's in it. I feel it's safe, and I feel I'm going to get my full 10 years out of it. 5,000 charge cycles is what lithium iron phosphate can do. Take 365 and divide it into 5,000. You're going to get like 13.6. You're going to get a long time. You could use it every day. Use it or lose it. That's one thing I've learned along the way. So, hey, let's get in there and use it and be ready for the next power outage. I'm going to be able to plug in all sorts of things. What kind of stuff? Well, you want to make sure you have your internet going. You want to be able to have your phones going, that kind of thing. This is going to be fantastic. Oh, this little device can also be used as a heater during the winter. It's a heat pump as well. So we'll give that a shot. If it's free, it's free. Hey, who doesn't love free? See you in the next one, guys. Give this thumbs up and forward it to someone that you know that might be able to use some free AC. See you in the next one. Ask questions down below.